Hi, I'm Derek, and I'm here to talk about all of my sessions from 1/12 until today, which is January 16th. This is the Gateway Log, where I talk about my experiences with the Gateway tapes, the Expand app, and really any meditations I might be doing, things that I try or experiment, because it's all trying to get to the same goal, which is to see if there's any validity to all this stuff. Again, I've had a lot of cool experiences in the last few weeks that have definitely made me think, yeah, there's a lot of validity. So I'm sticking to that. But wanted to, again, what I do with this channel is I just make sure that I document everything I'm doing. I tell you exactly what happened. It's not my job to make you believe it or anything, because frankly, I wouldn't believe half the stuff I'm saying either. And I have to always, kind of guard myself a little bit when I tell people I know, because I don't want them to think I'm crazy. But I also know what I experienced, and I know if you experienced it, you'd think I wasn't as crazy. But with that, let's start with January 12th. So that morning, I woke up with a song in my head. So one of the things I learned from the Connecting with Your Guides session from Monroe Institute is that the way your guides will communicate is sometimes they'll put songs in your ear, or they'll put things in front of you. Maybe they don't speak to you directly, but they might do that. And I woke up with the song "Tongue Tied" by a band called Group Love, which I've heard the song before. I didn't know the lyrics. Um, and I couldn't remember. I didn't know what this, like, who the artist was at the time. I had to ask around. I was like asking people at work, like, "Have you heard this song?" I knew the melody, and I finally found a person who would not be a person I thought would know it. It was an off chance, and he pulled it right up and played it for me, and sure enough, that was it. And the lyrics weren't super crazy. But again, I looked it up on Google. I Googled the lyrics and I copied them and pasted them. And, I don't know if they necessarily connected to anything that I was thinking immediately, but when I threw it into Gemini, it started tying it to other past memories. So I don't know. I reported it, I put that down. That evening on January 12th, I did Focus 15 with the Expand app. And while I got very relaxed, I did do my patterning, which again, I have a few things that I'm patterning, and I do them almost every day. Not so much because I'm trying to make them happen and I have to do them every day. It's more that when I think about them, it puts me in a positive vibration state, a positive mindset. And it's just one of those things where, like, the more I do it, the more I'm like, yeah, that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. So I think it's pretty cool. So I did my patterning. I did try to call out and communicate to whoever was listening. I didn't really get anything. Didn't get any visuals, but then I did click out, and I was out. I was in and out. But it was just, I would click out and I'd be gone for quite a bit. It was kind of crazy. Like, I felt like a lot of time went by, even though it was only like 20 minutes. Um, I then came out, or when I came back from clicking out, I was incredibly numb. I felt like I was harnessing my body's life force and trying to move it up to my head, where I might be able to have an OBE, out of body experience. And my eyes were fluttering, and light seemed to sparkle behind my closed eyes. It was like glittery, if you will. I noticed my breath exhaling almost went as if my belly was completely deflating. Like, it exhaled further than I can make myself exhale. It was weird. And because that was happening, I was like, okay, but I wasn't nervous about the breathing. One of the videos I recorded a while ago was that one of my biggest, I think, inhibitors of having an OBE is that I worry about taking a breath. So this time I was able to exhale, and I didn't take a breath for close to a minute, and I felt fine. So it was really interesting. Um, I didn't get the sensation of escaping, but I definitely felt like I was getting close. And I'm trying to move my energy in my body. And again, you're using your imagination, where you're like, kind of like, okay, trying to get that life force to kind of get going, come out, right? I can't get out still fighting Velcro. Tried calling out to my guides, and then I did get a feeling where I felt like I was flying through the air, but I didn't really see anything. I was numb. And then my thoughts started, like, trickling in with work. Sometimes your brain just doesn't shut off. At some point, I tried reaching out to aliens, because because I had that experience a little while ago, or what I thought was aliens. I don't know if it was. That's what they look like, aliens in my mind's eye. Didn't reach them. And then the music track started to fade in my ear. And then I felt like I was really lifting out of my body as I was sitting in silence. After a few moments, then the thought Orion's belt, and then three stars appeared in front of me. It was like dot, dot, dot. And I heard Orion's belt. Um, and I was like, what's that? And then the first thing I thought after I saw it and heard it was, oh, in Men in Black, there was Orion's belt. And that was like a big part of that plot in that movie. I have no idea what it was referring to, but I saw the stars lined up, dot, 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 and that was set in my head. So I don't know what that was. And then I waited a few moments. I sat in numbness and then came out. So pretty cool for the end of that one. January 13th, I did a free flow focus 15 in the Expand app. I had my positive patterning, which again, get into the Monroe Institute for their documentary in July. Get to play with the Goo Goo Dolls, see how that happens. Continue success at work, but not only success, but also where I don't have a crap load of stress because it's getting busy and crazy. So I like a good mix of, I'm not afraid to work hard, but also I don't want it to be insane where I'm not enjoying life. Monetary abundance, not necessarily rich, but just like I have enough where everything's covered and I don't have to think about it. And then success doing my meditations and like just growing. I keep imagining myself already having the skills that I guess I'm aiming for, if that's a thing. And success on social media with music. Like here, I'm hoping to connect with people that are going through this because you might teach me something as I teach you something. I'm throwing this all out here. But I did have thoughts of work. Work has been definitely coming through my head. I tried my resonant tuning and nobody was home, so I was able to kind of do it really loudly. And I tried to imagine going back in time in Focus 15 because that's the time of no time and no 3D. It's just no space and time. I clicked out in a big way. And then I started the next tape. I did Out of the Body Tech by William Bullman. He has a book, Journey Out of the Mind, I think, where his whole book is all about having OBEs. He works very closely with the Monroe Institute. I did tape 4 called Target Technique, where you try to imagine areas of your house and you try to like imagine them so well that you can then make yourself go there. I was able to imagine everything in my house very clearly, but I never felt like I was seeing it in real life. I felt like I was imagining being in these places. And then all of a sudden, I had tinnitus in my left ear. It was like a really high pitched noise hit my ear, and it caught my attention because I don't have this happen very often, but I've been told that might be a thing. So it happened. I tried to pay attention to what was going on, and then I wondered if I was like receiving a message that I couldn't understand, and then it went away, and I'm like, okay, I don't know what that was. I did manage to harness my body energy to my heart and then thrust it towards my head. And I felt like I was going to leave my body through my head. It was like everything was going up as I was laying down in bed. But I had that Velcro feeling. So no dice. I was at some point though. I was able to see it was like an IMAX screen, but it was just stars in a giant sky of stars and very vivid. Like it was almost like I was looking at it with my eyes open. There was definitely some light clouds around the stars too. And then that vision faded away, and then I clicked out for 30 minutes after the tape finished. I don't know what happened there, but pretty interesting. And then I took a break and I tried Focus 21 Free Flow. I got into place. I didn't do my affirmation before, so I did it this time. I settled in. I got my body numb. And then a memory of mine kind of hit me where it was like when I lived in New York City, I played at the club, the National Underground, which was owned by Gavin DeGraw and his brother. And I was like, I didn't have a lot of money. I was working at Guitar Center, making minimum wage in New York City, which was terrible. And I hired these guys to come play, and we didn't sell enough tickets for me to even make money. And so the memory took me to that time where I had to pay all these guys out of pocket, essentially out of my paycheck that I got from work. And it was just, it was really crippling. And that really stunted me because I just couldn't afford to keep doing that. So it was kind of rough, and it is what it is. But the memory went to that, and I thought that was really interesting. I don't know, because I haven't really thought about it from that point of view in many years. I mean, Gavin came to my set. Gavin DeGraw, a friend of mine, pulled him up, and he watched my set, and I didn't even know he was out there. But yeah, he watched, and apparently he thought I was good. So that's neat. Um, so I sat in the music and I got very numb. I saw some swirls, but no OBE after that. And then I saw what felt like a faded remote view, where I felt like I was looking on the inside of an airplane, like a big airplane. I could see all the windows and the chairs, but there was nobody in it. And then the vision went away. And then at that point, I started feeling restless, so I came out. So that was the end of that one. On January 14th, I did the Expand app, Focus 15. Nothing to report except my typical happy patterning. And then I tried Expand app Focus 12. Very quickly after I started that one, I saw a sunset in the sky with a faint light, faint pink light, and soft clouds. At some point, I saw what looked like a baby. It was really weird. This baby had like little black eyes. It looked like an underdeveloped baby, but the head was very round. It was like very cylinder, and a woman was holding it, but it didn't look human. It was really weird. And the eyes were very, yeah, very black looking. It was weird. And then it faded as quickly as I saw it. It was weird. And then I heard in the back of my head, back in the middle. Usually I've been hearing things behind my right ear or my left ear. This time I heard in the middle and the back of my head, if you died, who would you die with? And I was like, that is such a weird question. Why am I asking myself that? And I'm like, oh, I didn't ask myself this question. And then I was thinking of all the people I love and who would I want to bring with me. And then I thought, no, I wouldn't bring anybody with me. If I was going to die, I'd let them have their experience and I'll do what I do and I'll die. And I can die alone. I'll be all right. And that was kind of the thought I had answering back. Um, so it was really weird. I mean, it was a very profound question. That's not a question I would ask. So really interesting how that came through. And again, it was a different voice than my internal monologue. It just took me a second to like, what is this? Um, and I also got my body back to that OBE feeling, but I didn't escape. Um, and then, that night I got a message on Fiverr from a person who, like a client that I've worked with, who was like looking for an audition that night. And when I saw that it was an audition, I just didn't feel like doing an audition. Sometimes I'm just lazy. I do voiceover on the side. And so I just decided to ignore it. And then I looked the next morning and it would have been for a $10,000 job. And it was for a big company. And apparently it was a very good chance I was going to get it. And because I didn't turn in the audition to do it, they had to move on. So maybe my patterning's working, because it doesn't take a lot to do those kind of voiceovers. So really interesting. So that we'll see. We'll see on the patterning. Now my eyes are open. Oh, that's how money might be able to come in. Okay, got it. Then on January 15th, I did the Expand app, Gateway to Beyond, which is like one of their meditations. And I had trouble staying focused. The guy was talking a lot in this one. So I really clicked out randomly and I don't remember much. Then I did Focus 21. I saw the inside of a white room, like a remote view. And my breath was, very soft, but I did my patterning and felt positive. But outside of that, there wasn't much going on. And then suddenly at the end of the workout, or at the end of the meditation, I saw a crowd and there was this redheaded guy with a beard yelling. And then all of a sudden his face was on all the people in the crowd. And then it like froze and I saw his face frozen in front of me. It was very bizarre. Um, and yeah, that's essentially all I got. So lots of neat things I've tried. Again, I think I'm going to try to start doing these like on the daily. After I do a couple, I'll do a quick report and post them that way, so I can kind of talk about it more from it just happening versus me trying to remember what I did 5 days ago and look at my notes. But let me know about your experiences. I'd love to hear them. I'm going to keep on going. I'm really enjoying it. Again, not as many fireworks as previous weeks, but hey, I'm just here to report. So with that, my name is Derek. This is the Gateway Log. Have a great one.